are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Renowned drag queen Lady Bunny doesn't mince words when she says RuPaul is destroying the world and accuses RuPaul of environmental harm through fracking. Bunny reveals the contrast between RuPaul's practices and what she preaches.
Pennsylvania senator faces controversy over rejecting William Way LGBTQ+ center funding amidst far-right criticism. LGBTQ+ expresses disappointment over the decision.
Trump leads Biden 48% to 43% in recent polls, signaling potential victory. LGBTQ+ rights are a key concern in this election. Is Trump like the Avengers villain Thanos? I'm inevitable.
U.S. denies visa to Ugandan MP who advocates for castration of LGBTQ+ individuals. LGBTQ+ activists in Uganda applaud the move against discrimination.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Thursday, March 7th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
That's right, Bobby, and let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's begin with the beautiful Miss Adrianna Tender. She's the program coordinator with Trans Inclusive Group and owner of Tender Loving Care Trans Mentoring. She serves on the National Board of Governors of the Human Rights Campaign and is Vice President, VP baby, of the Dolphin Democrats and on the board of Black LGBTQ Liberation. Adrianna, you work with Blink and they're presenting an important event called Black Women Breaking Through Barriers of HIV on March 18th. Tell me all about it.
So Blink is having an event, and it is on March 18th. It's going to be at the YMCA, and it's going to be at the Black Box Theater. This event is going to be talking about HIV prevention, care, and treatment, and the focus is going to be on Black and brown women. You know, there's a whole lot of talk for years about prevention and care and treatment when it comes to gay men, but the numbers of women, especially in the brown and Black communities, are skyrocketing, and we want to make sure that we're doing something about it by educating our Black and brown women.
Thank you very much, Miss Adrianna. Next up, let's welcome anchor Buddy Frey. Buddy's a longtime South Florida resident. He enjoys our large, diverse community and supports many of our local nonprofit organizations, like JFOY, Julian's Fountain of Youth, and the Stonewall National Library Museum. Buddy, Julian's Fountain of Youth and the Wilton Collective have both moved to a much larger and cooler location. They're going to have the grand opening celebration coming up at the end of April, right? Tell me what's happening.
That's correct, they are. The new location will have a formal grand opening on April 27th at their new location. But in the meantime, on March 22nd, and I've been given permission to discuss this, is that they're going to have an auction and a fundraiser with food and drinks also at that location, because right next door is the Holy Angels facility, and they're going to have the auction over there to start celebrating their new opening. So that'll be from 7 to 9, and I'm sure if you go to the website, you can get all the information.
Fantastic. Follow Jay Foy on all social media and you'll know exactly what he's talking about. Next up, let's welcome anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. He's a certified civil and family mediator and a founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. From Hong Kong and having grown up across the world, he can offer a queer global perspective on current events. Bobby, Lantera has a special Come As You Are prom at Fort Lauderdale United Church of Christ on May 15th. Tell me what's happening.
Hey, Fay, how are you doing, honey?
I'm good, baby.
So Lantera is a new nonprofit organization that places a focus on removing stigma of mental health, especially for marginalized communities such as us and people of color, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the first prom. This is an inaugural prom that's basically open to everyone. And it also benefits Prom Beach, which provides prom supplies and clothing for underprivileged or, people who can afford to go to prom otherwise.
I love that.
And it would take place at, like you said, at United Church of Christ. And the theme is a prom for the decades.
I love that. I love that. Get your tickets today for that prom. That's fantastic. That's going to be May 16th, so get your tickets ASAP.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, Fay What. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the Fay What Show on Mondays at 9 a.m. and then on demand. Fay, I understand that your beloved Arts United will host the 25th anniversary celebration fundraiser at Lips on March 20th. Tell me what's happening.
Listen, I love Arts United. They bring us so many incredible shows to our area. And we have a fundraiser, and it's going to be at Lips. And it's going to be March 20th, starting at 7 p.m. I hope that you all join us for a night of drag and fundraising. We have celebrity host, myself. Tony Lima from SunServe will be one of the celebrity hosts. The funny girl, Natalie Tyler, will be another one of the celebrity hosts, as well as Michael Albetta, who is always doing so much for our community. I can't wait to see how they drag it up. The beautiful Miss Athena Dion is going to drag me up for the evening. Let's see what she comes up with. Maybe I'll look cute, maybe I won't. But please come on by, and it's all for an incredible cause. It will be one of Arts United's biggest fundraisers of the year, and I hope to see you in the place. So we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for Thursday, March 7th, 2024. Let's begin by queering up drag culture. Lady Bunny goes nuclear on hypocritical RuPaul, saying she's destroying the planet. Lady Bunny, a renowned drag queen, has accused RuPaul, who is also her longtime friend, of contributing to environmental destruction through fracking. RuPaul expressed concerns about the future of humanity in an interview with the New York journalist Ronan Farrow before the release of his new memoir, The House of Hidden Meanings. He voiced fears of an impending civil war and described humans as being in a cycle of destruction. RuPaul revealed plans for a fortified compound on his Wyoming ranch to serve as a safety measure against potential turmoil. But Lady Bunny, who met RuPaul in the 80s and moved to New York together for their drag careers, appeared to take issue with Ru. In a recent Instagram post, Bunny wrote, quote, "So Ru is protecting himself from the climate cycle of destruction, which his fracking helps to create," end quote. The post also commented on RuPaul voting and writing songs about the Clintons and Obamas, who, just like Biden, supported drilling for more fuels. In 2023, official statistics revealed a record-breaking daily oil production of 13.2 million barrels in the U.S., surpassing the 13 million barrels per day during Trump's tenure, proving Bunny's point true. RuPaul disclosed in a 2020 NPR interview that he leases land in Wyoming to oil firms. Lady Bunny also pointed out the hypocrisy of Drag Race hosting a climate change ball on season 10 to raise awareness about the climate's crisis. Lady Bunny, if you treat your friends this way, I can only imagine how you treat people you like. I mean, it explains a lot why people have so much negative things to say about you, Miss Lady Bunny. I used to be a fan. Lady Bunny was a fixture down here in South Florida. She was super, super funny. And then Trump came to pass and everything kind of changed and her political views went that way. And so then my love for her went the opposite way, climate change is a thing, right? This fracking, it's not right for our planet, right? But who isn't doing something to harm this planet? Yeah, could RuPaul do more with his money to maybe help? Yes, he could, but I think this is just Bunny's trying to get her face out there, trying to be relevant, trying to still be in the news. Lady Bunny hasn't been in the news for a while, so she has to just come after somebody like she is coming after RuPaul,
I mean, it's calling attention to herself. But what that piece, what you just said actually caught my ear was that RuPaul is building a fortified compound in Wyoming. It's very billionaire prepper of her. Let's use an old missile silo and build a giant complex underground so you can squirrel in there when the guillotine comes for the for the welfare.
I mean,
but he's getting prepared.
When you have friends like Bunny, I mean, hey, think about your enemy. She needs to be protected. And if I had all that money, I'd be way up in the hills somewhere protecting myself.
Well, but my concern is this, and I guess I'm not trying to make fun of this, but it's what the hell is she doing?
Yeah.
Nobody has the answer for climate
change. Yeah.
Because this has become a new phenomenon in the last 10 years. Or if not more, at least publicly. What is she doing to help the situation? No one has the answers. We're all trying to do the best we can, but we got to come together. And instead of being shady and stabbing your friends in the back, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what the reality is. I mean, there's more to this story than just her bitching.
Of course. I mean, but again, let's hope that, maybe again, it's RuPaul here. RuPaul kind of owns the world right now,
Well, he does.
So, I mean, you're taking out your big guns going after her, and I'm going to apologize to Miss Lady Bunny because, she hasn't done so much recently, like we were just saying, that I completely confused her with Elaine Lancaster.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I did. Yeah. So I'm going to call myself out on that. And I was just oh, wow, why is she going after Ru? What is wrong with her? But now, Lady Bunny, now I'm talking to you. Now that I remember who you are, Miss Lady Bunny, you are so talented. You should be doing more with your time than going after Ru. How about you come out with a memoir? You've got an interesting past that you should be sharing. And then maybe you can give the money to global warming. What do you think?
I think that's great. She could do some fundraising for global warming.
What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, she could do some fundraising for global warming. There you go. Yeah. And then that's your way of helping the universe. And then you can still talk crap about Ru if you want to. How about that? I'll give you that. I'll give you that pass.
Only if she raises more money than what Ru raised for climate change.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. It's a battle now. It's a battle royale.
It's a competition.
Buddy, what's next?
Next, let's queer up the USA View. Senator John Fetterman pulls support of Philly LGBTQ plus center and Libs of TikTok celebrates. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman faced scrutiny after appearing to withdraw support from funding the William Way LGBTQ plus community center. However, Fetterman clarified that a letter was sent without his knowledge. Far-right figures, including Chaya Rychik and Libs of TikTok, targeted the funding, citing claims about the center's kinky activities. Following the tweet, Libs of TikTok celebrated what appeared to be a change of heart by the Pennsylvania Democrat. They circulated a letter sent by Senator Fetterman to the chairperson of a Senate Appropriations Committee subcommittee. In the letter, Fetterman stated that after conducting additional review, he announced his decision to retract support and request the removal of a specific funding project for the fiscal year 2024 congressionally directed spending. In a statement to The Advocate, Fetterman elaborated on his decision and emphasized his ongoing support for the William Way LGBT Community Center in Philadelphia. However, he clarified that the withdrawal of support was based on strategic considerations. He asserted that the center should not be penalized for conducting legal activities among consenting adults. The Advocate contacted the William Way LGBT Community Center to inquire about its programming, and a spokesperson for the center conveyed disappointment over Fetterman and Senator Bob Casey's withdrawal of support, while also denouncing extremist false portrayal of the center. Okay, so this is politics, so there's always more deeper into the situation.
There's always more to it, right?
There's a lot more to it. Now, apparently, the situation is there's three things that developed. One, a letter was sent out after the Libs of TikTok went berserk over the funding. And somebody on the senators on Fetterman's staff said, "Oh, we're backing off from this," without his being involved, without his knowledge or him being involved in the decision making. Upon Fetterman's investigation, it was decided that $1 million was being requested by this congressional group for the center, for adding on to the center and improving the center physically with a plan to the building. Not programming, but the actual physical plant. And Fetterman had been told that in no way, shape, or form was this going to pass. It was going to be eliminated from this particular moment. And so he withdrew it, knowing that in the next round, he had a better chance of getting money for this organization. In the meantime, the libs obviously ran with it and said said he gave up. We win.
Look, a Democrat came over to us.
And then at the same point, they also made the accusation that the center was doing something illegally by having a kinky session in their facility. And the William Way Center said, no, that's against our standards. And this group meets here, yes, but they meet here monthly. They don't have sex here. They just meet here.
A bondage group, like you said.
Yeah, it was some sort of a sexually focused group, like a bondage group. Mm-hmm. So it was, again, the libs of TikTok running with 10% knowledge and making a bigger scene out of it. So,
at this point, that woman will not stop at anything.
Right.
First, she rails against the indoctrination of kids. But the bondage group has nothing to do with kids. It's about consenting adults.
Right.
The truth is, their ultimate goal is not about kids. It's not about indoctrination. It's essentially erase LGBTQ plus people from social, political, and daily life. They don't want to hear from us. They don't want us to be visible. Yeah. They want us to scurry back into our closet we should be scared of them like the bloody 1950s or something.
No, and it hurts so much that it's Philly. I love Philly. Have you ever been to Philly? Philly is so quaint, great food, fantastic people, but there's a lot of poverty there, and there's a lot of marginalized people there that need this center. Drug use is rampant in Philly. It's like ground zero for a lot of meth use and stuff like that. And, LGBTQ plus people don't have anywhere to go. They can't go to just regular places and get help. That is what the center provides for them. And you're going to take that money away from those people that so need it.
Well, the center provides a lot of programs.
And maybe next time around, they'll be able to.
Right. And Fetterman has stated that he still supports the group and he's still actively pursuing. They were asking for $1 million for the physical plant and improvements. And so he's still actively pursuing that. So he's still supporting the community. It's just everyone needs to do their homework and quit just taking a 10-second TikTok video and running with it.
Congressional appropriations is a horse trade. It's a horse trade. And politics is rarely transparent. It's extremely obscure. It's basically congressional members trading back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
The withdrawal of funding for this round doesn't mean that
they're not going to get it.
Right. For the next
doesn't
round.
mean that.
And that's what Mr. Fetterman actually said. He says there's a better chance in the next round of appropriations that we can get this money as I so desperately want to provide.
And I'm so glad that you added that to the story, buddy, because now, you can just hear people in our community going, that's Fetterman, I can't believe him, blah, 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 without knowing all the information, right? Okay, he's took a step back, hoping that next time around he can
and working hard for it. So we need to support our allies, and we need to do our homework when we hear somebody's being knocked before we start screaming.
Yes, sir.
Glad we got the facts up. So next, let's clear up politics. 48% to 43% in LGBTQ plus preparing for inevitable Trump 4 years. In the Disney Avengers series, the villain Thanos concludes at the end of the movie series with the chilling words, I am inevitable. After Super Tuesday, the LGBTQ plus community is in a blaze over social media that the fantasy moment may now be a reality moment called Donald Trump. In a surprising turn of events, the 2024 presidential election landscape takes a sharp twist as former President Donald Trump emerges as the leading contender against President Joe Biden. According to a recent New York Times Siena College poll, Trump holds a 48% to 43% advantage over Biden, marking the largest lead he has seen in such polls since his first campaign in 2015. The poll highlights vulnerabilities for Biden, particularly among working class voters of color without college degrees, a group that significantly supported him in 2020. but now shows reduced enthusiasm. Other recent polls also indicate a tightening race, with Trump edging ahead by roughly 2% in a general election matchup. Trump's path to the Republican nomination clears further, with Nikki Haley ending her presidential bid, setting the stage for a rematch with Biden in November. Even more disturbing was the endorsements Trump received yesterday. Even the greatest voices against Trump and the January 6th attack on the Capitol, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senator Lindsey Graham, and hundreds of other GOP leaders who had not committed, seemed to fall in line. LGBTQ plus rights have been a focal point of this race, with Trump pledging to roll back gender-affirming health care for trans youth and advocating for restrictive policies if reelected. His previous tenure saw significant setbacks for LGBTQ plus rights, including military bans and rollbacks of protections. As the race intensifies, the LGBTQ community braces for a potential return to a Trump presidency and the challenges it may bring. Whether Thanos or Trump, is now he inevitable?
I am inevitable.
Oh, buenas. So what do you think, Adrianna?
Gosh, did you see those muscles on Thanos? Well, when I think about it, I mean, this should be a wake-up call to all Democrats to let us know that we need to really get out there and vote and let people know what's really going on. But then on the other hand, I think about, when I'm thinking about polls, if we go back to Hillary and Trump, everybody just knew the polls were showing that Hillary was going to win, and we all know what happened.
But it's important for us. There's a couple important things here to remember. Polls don't tell the truth. Polls are in that moment yesterday at 5:30 between these people and these people.
Correct.
Yesterday afternoon, it was discussed that Nikki
Haley.
Haley was already planning a group of, trying to create a nonprofit to start planning to fight against Trump. That was not discussed in that poll.
Yeah.
The other thing is it's not just only polls are fleeting and in the moment, but it's also the fact that the race has just now begun. We know who we're fighting against from a Democrat and a Republican. So now is when it matters. So we have to be honest as a community, and we have to tell the truth, and we have to do our homework, and we have to just start banding together and building allyships.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And we have to vote. If you don't vote, you don't get to bitch.
I agree.
And that's the other thing too. Of course, Trump show up with figures like 48% because his followers will vote for him no matter what.
Right.
Like he said before, if he shoots someone in the head in the middle of Fifth Avenue, they will still vote for him.
Yeah.
See, it's a cult-like behavior. Meanwhile, Biden is trying to get a big tent together, and he is facing multiple headwinds. We have his response on the Gaza conflict that's riling up certain groups, certain progressive groups. You have people who are trying to protect the rights of women and hopefully stop the bleeding after Roe was overturned. And you have multiple priorities, including LGBTQ plus priorities. The 10% that says that, don't know, refuse, those are the ones that we can get.
Right.
Those, that we can end up with. And also, by the way, that clip of Thanos, after he said he is inevitable, he snapped and nothing happened. You know what? Iron Man showed up and said, and I am Iron Man. This is where Doc Brandon can come in and say,
I am Iron Man, right?
I'm Doc Brandon.
Look, we're going to keep on saying the same thing throughout, the next couple of months. It's going to be vote, vote, right? It's going to be vote, vote, vote. And we've been screaming that for how many years now, I still have PTSD from 8 years ago. Like Adrianna said, I was sure. I went to sleep and I said, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow with a woman president, right? I was so sure. And then I woke up to the horror that was Trump as our president. I recall Trump holding one of our, LGBTQ plus flags and saying, I have done the most for your community. I am the president that has done the most for LGBTQ. And that just made all our blood boil, you know? He's coming back, and he's coming back with a vengeance if we don't do something to stop him. This is the time, like you all said, to make sure that people are registered to vote, make sure that your friends are ready to vote, make sure that you are willing to take whoever is willing to hear you to the polls and have their votes counted.
And do your homework.
And do your homework.
And I think that's for organizations like Dolphin Dems to get out and make sure that you're educating people on what these legislation and these policies are truly about, because there are people out there that will vote but don't know what's really going on and who to truly vote for. I was in the liquor store one day, and I was sitting there with a line of black and brown people, and they were like, I can't wait till this thing is over. Man, Trump did it. You know, Trump gave us that check, so we're going to vote for him.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and they sat there, and they were like 7, 8, 9 people in the store, and they were all agreeing, saying that they were going to vote for Trump. And it took one man in the back to go, y'all really don't know what the hell y'all are talking about.
Because he don't give a crap about you.
Well, and also keep in mind, right now, all we've been talking about is Trump. We haven't begun to talk about Biden and his campaign.
Yes.
They've been quiet, waiting for the dust to settle between him and Nikki Haley and the Republican Party. And we know for a fact that the Republican Party is admitting that 30% of the Republicans are going to vote for Trump no matter what.
No matter what.
What's going to happen to the other 70%?
Yeah.
And he can say, grab him in the...
That's who we need to target.
And we need to target those people.
Adrianna and Buddy have both said, do your research, right? Okay? Like, I am that person, and I'm shameful in saying this, but before Trump took office, I really didn't care too much about politics. All of a sudden, they wanted us dead and not breathing, and I woke up and I needed to get myself educated. So where could somebody go to get those answers, to find out what candidates are for us locally and stuff like that? Where can we go to that?
So locally, you can definitely go to Dolphin Dems and their website, and they have all of the information of who they've endorsed and some of their policies. And you definitely can come to our meetings, which are the second Wednesday of the month, and we have candidates locally that are coming there to educate us on policies and talk about what they're going to do for us. Because not only is it important to vote in the presidential election, but what people really don't understand and do not realize is these local elections that truly count. Because look at it. When it comes to us getting trans care taken away from us, and don't say gay, all of the bills that are truly affecting the LGBTQ community right now, it's this governor and this majority of the Republicans. So
and the school boards and the local politicians.
At that local level. Yes.
And I just want to add that also read the news. Get your news not from your aunt on Facebook, but actually go to AP. Go to New York Times. Go
read
to
them
CNN.
all.
Read.
Or ask somebody, because sometimes all that looks like jibber jabber and I can't understand these words or that words. You know, I was a person that I would vote for someone if they had a black or brown last name. That was me. That was how I used to roll. Okay.
You have to be smarter.
Now I don't anymore. But my point is that I'm not alone in that, Bobby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
I understand.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you looked at me with that crazy face, but it's the truth.
I used to do it.
All right, next, let's queer up the worldview. Uganda lawmaker who called for gay castration denied entry to the USA.
Madam Chair,
Can you look?
where somebody has got your child, imagine the child is 2 years, is 3 years. Even life imprisonment is not adequate, because this person is going to go into the prisons and continue living his life, maybe even continuing with homosexuality in the prisons. These people should be castrated. Yes. The amendment I'm proposing is that the person should be castrated, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Elijah.
Yeah.
The United States has taken a firm stance against hate speech and discrimination by denying a visa to Uganda Member of Parliament Sarah Akian Opendi, who advocated castrating homosexual individuals. Opendi's proposal came during a speech endorsing Uganda's controversial 2023 Anti-Homosexuality Act, which imposes severe penalties on LGBTQ+ individuals and advocates. The U.S. Embassy in Kampala refused Opendi's visa application to attend the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in New York. While Opendi expressed frustration over the denial, LGBTQ+ activists in Uganda welcomed the decision as a significant step against spreading hatred. Human rights lawyer Nicholas Obio praised the move, emphasizing its importance in combating discrimination. He criticized Ugandan legislators who disregard international concerns about human rights violations. Activist Stephen Kabuye, recently targeted in a homophobic attack, echoes Opio's sentiments, expressing satisfaction with the U.S. visa ban on Ugandan officials who violate human rights. Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act, known colloquially as the Kill the Gays law, has drawn international condemnation. The U.S. previously imposed sanctions on Uganda, including visa restrictions and expulsion from a U.S.-led trade pact, in protest against the legislation. Similar measures were threatened against Ghana after its parliament passed anti-LGBTQ+ legislation, including billions of dollars that may be lost from the World Bank and other vital funds to Ghana. Well, first of all, I just want to add an addendum that although she has refused a visa, there are other Ugandan officials that was given the visa that also supported the Kill the Gays Act. I think that if she is not approved, it was because maybe other reasons as well. Or maybe the other ones are just too important to stop going to New York to attend some kind of UN meeting. But in any case, I think that this is a good thing. It is a sign that, the U.S. government is actually taking LGBTQ+ rights seriously. On the other hand, I feel like Congress should really investigate these evangelical church and their role in spreading LGBTQ+ hatred in Africa. Because these are all stirred up by people like Scott Lively, the infamous Massachusetts XYZ curse word here, claimed that, Hitler's gay, the Nazi is gay, and gay people are evil. And he goes out when he lost a battle in Massachusetts, which is Massachusetts. He basically exported his hatred out there. I mean,
and people listen.
They claim that these are traditional African values, except that sodomy and homosexuality was in some ways, it was in ancient Egypt. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert in ancient African culture, so I'm not going to go there before someone cancels me. But these colonial era anti-sodomy laws are all imposed by Britain. So they claim that that the LGBTQ+ movement is trying to culturally imperialize us. I'm like, you're using imperial era law to oppress us. Yeah. So it makes no sense, but either way, I think the sanctions has to be more severe.
Why does it hurt me so much that she's a woman and she believes these things? Miss Sarah Akinyang Opendi, you would rather mutilate a gay person than educate yourself and know the truth about being gay and being LGBTQ+. I personally praise the decision. I'm glad they didn't let her in.
Well, I'm just wondering what kind of a mother she is. As a mother of a man or a boy, would you want your child to be castrated because he was born?
Because he was born, period. Exactly. You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. What kind of a mother would do that? And in that clip, if you watched in the background, there was a woman dressed in a blue suit, and she was more animated than the speaker herself.
She was like, happy as hell. Let's castrate everyone.
I mean, this is like Bobby was saying, this is historically because of the infiltration of evangelical thoughts and religious beliefs for the last 50 years, along with other history.
So I have very mixed views about it. First of all, I don't agree with anything that's coming out of her mouth. It's all BS. But there are so many things that people right here in our country are saying and doing that is affecting us as as LGBTQ people that is completely ridiculous, that are putting us in danger of being killed as well. I think for me, it seems like it's more to do with her being a Black woman than it is with what she said. I mean, yes, it's great for us to take a stance, but how many other people have they let into this country that have said things worse than that?
done things worse than
and done things worse than that, and they let them in. For me, it's like you're not letting this Black woman attend this particular conference because of something she said, because of her opinion, which I definitely don't agree with. But everybody's entitled to their opinion.
So you think it's more because she's a Black woman?
She's putting it out there.
That's just how I feel it. That's just how I feel about it. Like someone else just said, how many people have done worse, not just said something about, but have done worse that they have let into our country?
So what do we do?
I don't know. Y'all tell me.
The thing is, I cannot judge that statement because, for example, I do not know who is permitted to enter instead of her.
Yeah. What are the guidelines?
Maybe there are other Black women, Uganda Black women who actually got let in, and she was blocked for other reasons other than her anti-LGBTQ advocacy. There are many reasons why, the visa ban was imposed on the supporters of the Kill the Gays bill, and their families.
Yeah.
And we also we also kicked Uganda out of a trade pact. And according to an article in the New York Times a month or so ago, Ugandan businesses has cratered due to the fact that no one wants to go there. Safari tourists sit empty because who wants to be in that place when they can go to Kenya?
Who wants to take that chance?
So I have a question. So how many presidents of countries who have started wars with other countries and have killed people that they have let in here to the United States?
Plenty.
For summits all around.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's my point.
Adrianna's point made.
Yeah.
There you go. Folks, tonight's broadcast is presented by viewers like you and the generous support by Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m. We finished tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Which is sexier for queer celebs, beards or no beard? Side-by-side comparisons. In the realm of grooming, beards often serve as a canvas for self-expression, especially for LGBTQ plus celebrities. From sporting full-fledged facial hair to flaunting clean-shaven looks, these personalities effortlessly switch between styles. Among our favorites are Colton Underwood of The Bachelorette, Gus Kenworthy from 84 Brady, and Harvey Guillén from What We Do in the Shadows. Also on the list are emerging Hollywood star Jeremy Pope, painter Juan Yosef, and Rafael El Silva from 911 Lone Star. The list would not be complete without Puerto Rican superstar Ricky Martin, out bisexual actor Ronan Rubinstein, actor Russell Tovey, and Zane Phillips. So what is the verdict? Beard or no beard?
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's clear up entertainment. Gay icon Barbie and gay icon Kylie Minogue unite with Padam doll to celebrate International Women's Day and Barbie's 65th anniversary. Pop icon Kylie Minogue joins a prestigious lineup of women who have Barbie dolls made in their likeness. Mattel, the toy manufacturer, selected Minogue as Australia's Barbie role model to honor women who shaped the future. The doll clad in Minogue's iconic red dress from her hit song Padam Padam, complete with thigh-high boots and a flowing cape, is part of a collection that includes legendary figures like Helen Mirren, Shania Twain, and Viola Davis. Each doll represents diversity and empowerment, showcasing the global impact of influential women. Though these dolls are not available for purchase, they are symbols of recognition of women's achievements worldwide. We remind the entire LGBTQ plus community to celebrate Women's History Month.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up lesbian culture. Renee Rapp explains how Justin Bieber reminds her of a really sexy lesbian. The actress, who publicly identified as bisexual last year, recently confirmed her lesbian identity in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, following her bold declaration on Saturday Night Live. Despite this revelation, Rapp surprised many by confessing to a former crush on Canadian heartthrob Justin Bieber, attributing her admiration to wanting to emulate his cool demeanor. She said, quote, "I was obsessed with him." End quote. Rapp humorously noted that Bieber's stage presence and cool fashion sense reminded her of a really sexy lesbian. Well, who hasn't had a crush on Justin Bieber? We all have been there.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Why is gay Twitter hating on 9 to 5 remix with Dolly Parton and Pitbull? Country icon Dolly Parton has joined forces with rapper Pitbull, putting a fresh spin on her song 9 to 5 in a collaboration that has divided LGBTQ plus fans. Pitbull's new album, Track House Daytona 500 Edition, includes a track titled Powerful Women, featuring Parton's vocals throughout, including the chorus of 9 to 5. Padam recorded new verses for the song, praising hard-working women and giving a nod to her 1980s film co-stars Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. While some appreciate the empowering message, others find the collaboration unexpected or out of place. However, we have one thing to say to Dolly, as the new song lyrics go, quote, "Thanks again for shining light on the women that work from 9 to 5, end quote. That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience? Watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Fay What? And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Adrianna Tender, Buddy Frey, and Dr. Bobby Huen. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you good night.
Bye.